Hey everybody, Nerdy Transformed here again, and today I'm reviewing the Transformers Platinum Edition Autobot Heroes Deluxe Class Blurr. Now, Blurr and Cup both have a kind of an issue as they are based on they are using the same mold as the older generations Blurr and Sergeant Cup. So they kind of an issue as the Ultra Magnus, RC, and Springer are all based on their newer versions, which have more of a Season 3 futuristic vehicle look, while Blurr and Sergeant Cup being from the older generation sets kind of goes for more of the reimagined modern versions, where these are certainly inspired by their old vehicle modes, but these are much more of a realistic, what you would actually see on the streets. Maybe not in these colors, but you can certainly see a car like this on the streets. So they do stick out a bit in the set as they do not have their futuristic vehicle modes, but they are still very nice. I do not have the original Generations Blurr, I do not have the Drift, I do not have the Titans Return Blurr either. I don't have Titans Return Blurr because I don't really like his colors in the US version, and the Japanese version is a little too expensive for my taste. So for now, this will be my Blurr, and it actually is a really good Blurr. I mean, he does have a very nice looking car mode. He's got the crystal blue that Blurr is known for. It's got some lighter blue at the front that kind of streaks back to give that impression of it going fast. Got a nice white stripe going all the way down. You got a white spoiler in the back. The front is painted in the headlights and the grille with some black paint. On the back, we actually do get the taillights painted in red, which is pretty nice. You can actually see double exhaust ports. The wheels are really nice as they're a nice blue color with some white paint for the rims. And they do look very nice, very Blurr-esque. This is, of course, a remold of the Generations Drift figure, who was a samurai. I'm not sure why they chose to remold Blurr from Drift. I mean, the vehicle mode does kind of work, as well as they did some heavy remolding on the vehicle itself. So that's kind of up to you. Oh yeah, and the back window is also painted in black. My only complaint is that the clear plastic on top did not get painted, so you're just kind of stuck staring at it. What is nice though is the top is done in a very metallic crystal blue, and it doesn't stick out quite badly at all. It does blend in pretty well with the blue plastic. And we do have the clear plastic windows so you can actually see the insides, where there are basically just transformation kibble. But, you know, not much you can do about that. You also get some little transformation bits sticking out right there, but what can you do? It can only do so much, you know. The front bumper does not hold together quite as well as it could, but it's minor issues. The figure does have 3 accessories, 2 pistols, which are already stored in the doors, and not sure you can really see that, but right there you can see the handle of them sticking out. So they are stored away in vehicle mode. The only way to do is start transforming them. He also has his rather large sniper rifle that I guess Blurr had in the IDW comics. And there are 2 indents on the gun, and there's 2 clips on the other side of the vehicle. So if you just line those up, clip in place, kind of makes for a 3rd exhaust pipe out the back. And he can still roll decently. A little bit slower, but you can still roll with him doing that. Ah, there we go. Watch out for that little piece on the hinge here. If it's sticking down, then he really isn't going to roll. But he still rolls really nicely. He still looks pretty good. You can sit here. He's next to Titan's Return Wheelie to give you a good idea of how big he is. It's Deluxe. And for another older Generations figure, here he's next to Warpath. So you can see he's pretty decently sized. He's a large Deluxe car. That's also because Warpath is a tank, so he's going to be a bit different in the vehicle size. But yeah, it's a really nice little vehicle mode, and I really do like it. I do miss this old Generations idea of taking futuristic vehicles, but making them look more like how actual modern day vehicles look. I do miss this style. It was a very nice style for a while. So transform him, go ahead and remove the sniper rifle, get it out of the way. His transformation can be a little bit tricky. If he goes hold together, I don't know why I'm pushing about the gear, he's about to transform, but you know, that's beside the point. Go ahead and come to the sides, and where the doors are, just pull them back, and the window will come and clip with it. And that's all you're really going to do, you're just kind of unclip them. And now loosen up everything else in the vehicle. You can come to the back, grab the bumper, and start pushing it back, and you can see the feet flip out from under the windshield. Be very careful with that. And the hinge you're going to transform around on is right here where the exhaust pipes are. And they'll flip all the way around against the back of the legs. Then you're going to go ahead and split it. The front parts that form the top of the roof here where the feet are, You're going to bend them inward like so, and now give you the clearance to bring them up. Fold it down this hinge, and then just place it against the leg like that. So once again, fold it inward, bring it on upward, go ahead and fold it back down the other hinge, and fold it up into place against the leg. And the vehicle parts will form the heels. So now you have Blurr standing. Go ahead and come to the sides here. Go ahead and take the doors. They are on ball joints and struts, so just kind of flap them outward. You can see the guns in there now. Take the windshield, fold it in, and you can go ahead and rotate downward like so to where the guns are kind of pointing outward. Alright, come to the front here. Go ahead and split the front all the way down, revealing his head. These right here on this little transformation joint are on a double hinge. So they'll flip out like this, bring the hinge up, and it'll cover over the sides of the front bumper, making these little panels. And those will be the arms. They come down these struts on a ball joint. Take the windshield, just bring it up. It is also on a double hinge, and it'll clip in right to the chest there and form the chest. Then the arms are just kind of collapsed up under here, like so. They'll rotate at the hinge right here. You'll see it actually reveal, bring the elbow out, and it'll actually reveal the shoulder. Bring him out, bring him forward, straighten his legs, and there you have Platinum Edition Autobot Heroes Blurr in his robot mode, or also Generations Blurr, whichever you prefer to call him. But yep, there's his robot mode. Now we have Blurr in his robot mode, and if I can get the camera staying up. For size comparison, here he is next to Warpath. You can see he's typical deluxe size now that they're both in robot mode. Blurr's a bit taller, but it's more due to his proportions. And here he is next to Titan's Return Wheelie, so he's definitely deluxe sized. Get these two out of the way. And Blurr is a pretty nice looking figure. I'll admit he's probably not the most Blurr-esque of all the Blurrs out there. Titan's Return Blurr definitely has a lot more spot on. But this just feels a lot better. The colors on him look really nice. The colors definitely shout Blurr to me. Plus the design, while chunky, does have a very fast look to it. It does look like he could move very fast. I guess it comes from like the samurai stick that Drift brought. And unlike Drift, he does not have his swords, but instead has his little pistols. Or, would these be shotguns? Like, I mean, they do have a little pump on them, so is this like a single hand shotgun or something? I'm not sure. But they are hidden away in here, because they do have this little clip sticking off, they do go in a certain way. This gun always going to go here, and this gun's always going to go in here, due to the little piece they have sticking off. But they are basically the same mold, just mirrored. And he does have two of them, so he can dual wield them. So you can go ahead and give them the hold. And of course, those sheaths are also where you store them away if you don't want him to hold his guns in robot mode. And the sniper rifle can actually still be stored on the back with the same clip. The clip is on a double hinge, so you can bring it outward. And you could clip it higher up to keep it from getting in the way of his legs, like so. Let's go stick up over his head. The clip doesn't rotate or anything. Or of course you could have the clip sitting back down against the back and have it clip into both parts and just have it stick out between his legs. Not the best storage, but it is a place to put the sniper if you don't want him holding it. And let's go ahead and put the pistols back in their sheaths. Come on. There we go. And of course, you could have him holding the sniper rifle instead. And what's nice, it has this little handle that folds out like so. The thing that was dragging on the bottom of the car in car mode. So you can have this humongous sniper stick out of one hand. But to make it look a bit better, you can put it into the other hand, like so. And actually make it look like he's using the sniper rifle properly. And you could pose him pretty decently to hold it, like so. And it does look pretty good. That's usually how I end up posing him, was with the sniper rifle just kind of ready to shoot. Something about a sniper rifle just seems fitting for Blurr too. Just, I don't know, I guess a really fast, like kind of stealthy but fast way of killing. These little pieces that are the sheaths for guns, you could put them anywhere. You could have them sticking straight off the sides. You could have them slightly back. You could have them full tilt sticking back. It's just however you want to display them. I prefer kind of this tilted sticking out back, like so. But you can also fold them out like so, kind of get them completely out of the way of the arms. And it kind of works that way too. Like I said, I prefer just kind of keep them like so. The shoulders can also be worked with. Like here's the basic shoulder transformation. You could collapse the kibble in a bit more like so, but it does make the arm slightly shorter, as you can see. Or you could fully rotate the kibble upward, making the kibble his shoulder kind of like animated Blurr. If you fold both of them up, you can see it kind of has an animated Blurr aesthetic with the high shoulders. But it does make his arm longer, as if I put him back in the basic transformation, you can see it does give him quite a long arm. As well as moving his shoulders kind of a bit further downward. So yeah, I don't quite like the aesthetics of that because of how low it makes his elbows. I prefer just leaving them like so with the basic transformation. But there is some work around with them if you do have a certain style in mind for Blurr. I do like all the detail as in robot mode. You see through the windshield, you can actually see all this detail under here. Some kind of like lights kind of built in. Kind of looks like he has his headlights built in right there. You do get like the same similar detail it is unpainted up here. You do get a lot of nice paint down here with the white, blue, and the yellow for the crotch region. And for the knees, you do get some red here and a little bit of dark blue in there, and then you get the feet done in dark blue. Of course, he does have a lot of kibble. I will admit that he does have a lot of kibble. This kibble down here is not too bad, as it does work as his heel spur and doesn't get in the way of anything quite as much. The kibble doors can be kind of an issue, but at least it can hold the weapons. The only major kibble I can really think of is the shoulder kibble, where it's just kind of the bumper sticking off his shoulders. In which case, like I mentioned, you could rotate them down like so, or back, whichever you prefer. Have a lopsided Blurr. And I do like how the head sculpt comes out. It is not G1 Blurr, but it does have enough Blurr details, such as the little scope on the top, or the little... I'm not sure what you call this. Call it a scope. Sticking out the top with a little bit of yellow paint, just a little bit dab right there. And it in itself is done in dark blue. And he does have his eyes done in a nice crystal blue with a little bit of dark blue around it to kind of make them stick out. So he is very nice looking, even if he's not G1 Blurr. He does have like an IDW generation style Blurr done well. Articulation wise, he does have a ball jointed neck, as it can swivel, although it is very tight. And it can look up and it can look down a bit, so you could have him looking down at, you know, Wheelie or something, or looking up at maybe Optimus or Metroplex. You do get a ball jointed shoulder as long as the kibble doesn't bang around, which does happen quite a bit. But the ball jointed shoulder does work no matter how you have the kibble situated, which is pretty nice. And it can go inward a bit, so you can have the kibble jutting out like that. It is also on that strut if you wish. Can't really go outward much. Unfortunately, that is the only downside. Really can't have the arm going outward very far. But you do get a swivel, you do get a double ball jointed elbow, and you do get a ball jointed wrist, so you do get full rotation at the wrist. And you do get some movement, and it does go down to the side, which is not part of transformation, so it's pretty nice to actually add that articulation. Unfortunately, no oh no, does it have a swivel? Nope. Unfortunately, no swivel, even though it feels like they could have worked it in right there. It feels like they have enough room, or possibly down here, right at where the hips connect. But you do get ball jointed hips, and then you go forward and outward. You do get a swivel, you do get a hinged knee, and it goes just about 90 degrees. And you do get some toe movement due to how he transforms, so you could work with the toes to stand a bit straighter or have a more wider pose if you prefer. Like I said, I think he poses best with a sniper rifle, which is my preferred way of displaying him. But yeah, that is Platinum Edition Autobot Heroes Blurr. A very nice deluxe in my opinion. Is he the best Blurr out there? No, I'd say probably the... I do think quality-wise he's better than the Titan's Return Blurr, but accuracy, the G1, no. If you want a G1 style Blurr, go for the Titan's Return one or the Takara Legends one. But if you do just want like a Blurr who is a sniper or a different style from the G1, or you want a comic book accurate, the IDW comic book accurate one, this is probably the Blurr for you. He is a very nice looking Blurr, and the original Generations one is also pretty nice looking. But I do like the added paint details they added with the Platinum Edition version here, and he does look good with the other Platinum Edition figures, as well as the Classics Rodimus. He's a very nice Blurr. He's not G1 Blurr, but he's still a very nice Blurr. He still has decent articulation except for the shoulder movement. The kibble's not as bad as it looks, as there is a lot of things. It is very movable kibble. It's flexible kibble. Flexible. It is flexible. Oh, that's a fail word combination. And he does have really nice paint and really nice accessories. And he poses pretty nicely with his accessories. So if you do want the Platinum Edition set, I would recommend this figure. He's probably my favorite deluxe out of the three. I think Springer and Ultra Magnus are still my favorite figures, but this is my favorite deluxe out of the three we got in that set. So this has been Nerdy Transformed. I hope you enjoyed this review, and hope you have a good day. Take care.